a new vlog. It is so beautiful outside and I put some makeup on because we're going to Hotel Bristol and have like a lunch slash tea time there. Actually there will be no tea because we want to try the hot chocolate. I do that with my friend Mari. We have been trying to find the best hot chocolate in town for the past months, but I think the last 2 we didn't go anywhere, so it's finally time to continue our search, and I know Bristol is one of the best in town, so really looking forward to that. So, but I think I should go now and I take you with me. Hotel Bristol with my friend Mari, and it was so nice. In the end I decided to go for afternoon tea because it was so good. The sandwiches looked really tasty and the scones are really good, and then they had like macaron and Oreo cheesecake as like petit four on the top, and it was just so good. But I chose to have tea instead of a hot chocolate then because it got very sweet otherwise. But the tea was amazing too, so it was a very nice and adult way to spend your lunchtime on a Saturday. So it was really nice. And now that I'm back home, around me is pretty much a lot of mess like that. Which I usually don't show you. But I have been wanting to do a little spring decluttering for quite some while now. I just feel like it's time for a little spring decluttering, but at the same time I also want to work on my self-sabotage workshop that I have found in the No BS Weightloss program. So my split for today will be 50 minutes of tidying up and 50 minutes of working on my workbook. So I think we'll start with just a little tidying up in here so it feels a bit more airy and nice, and then actually we'll start with the desk. There's a lot in here to reorganize. Here it's a little bit better, but still. And then I think I also have to work on the trolley because yeah, it got a bit messy. So let's get started with that. The living room needs still a lot of work, but I can already feel such a difference because it's a bit more roomy. There's not so much stuff on the floor anymore, and I definitely have to deal with a few things like all on the table, all these kind of like stuff that has accumulated over time, which I definitely have to dig into, which I think I will do before I'm actually working on a desk, because this has been annoying for probably 2 months. There's still some Christmas stuff that I have to put away. But I also had already a break with working on my No BS weight loss course, and I actually decided to first do the things that I hadn't done last week, and I was making my overview for my weight loss journey, and I will show you how it looks like. So every week I write down some of my goals and what I'm gonna study, and then also make like a habit tracker, and then I fill out this at the end on Sunday. I will do that tomorrow, and I also will look at how much I did from the study course material that I was supposed to, or that I had planned to do. And yeah, so this is ready, and I think now we can dive into the self-sabotage workshop.
First and easiest place to catch yourself is when you see the consequences of your self-sabotage. So for example, you might notice your weight has been stalled a few weeks, or it's going up. By seeing the consequences without judgment and shame, you can start to look at what behaviors, feelings, and thoughts are causing this consequence. Of finding what works if you're willing to look openly and curiously at what's happening in your life without kicking yourself in the ass and then needing a donut to console you. The goal, once you notice a consequence, is to find solutions instead of going further down the rabbit hole of eating because you are beating yourself up for not doing any better. Now next is the doing stage. And this is the most obvious stage and the easiest one to make a big impact on your weight loss. In this stage, you can actually catch yourself in action and then get good at stopping yourself once you notice what you're doing. The goal is to see yourself overeating, not planning, or in any other self-destructive behavior, and auto-correct yourself because you know this is not a big deal unless I make it one. No need to think you're broken or that you're a fuck up. Again, shame and judgment has no role in overcoming self-sabotage. So maybe you're sitting around and you're eating an unplanned bag of Cheetos. This is a great opportunity to practice saying, "That's enough, I'm done." Stopping in the act of the Cheetos, even if it's leaving just one lone orange piece of deliciousness in the bag, is how you work through self-sabotage. In that moment, you take back control from the habit brain. You jump right into the driver's seat, taking you to your future self.
I don't know what to say. This self-sabotage workshop that I'm doing right now is amazing. I'm only like 2 units in. I think it has like 10 or 11, and there's so many like connecting dots in my brain. I'm like, oh god, I want to catch everything. It is so much. First thing I learned is that self-sabotage happens to everyone, and that the goal is not to end self-sabotage but to work through it, because it will appear often again and again and again. So it is better to learn how to work through it. So the definition of self-sabotage is that your unconscious brain drives self-destructive behavior to make sure you meet the expectations of your internal belief systems of you and the world around you. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And like, these patterns have been created at a time that they were useful, but they are not anymore, because now they keep you from reaching certain goals. So she said you have to find your pattern, you have to learn from it, and then grow. And I knew it had something to do with me soon going on a summer vacation, but I wasn't aware how deep it was rooted. I realized that I had like a similar thing when I attempted weight loss before, and it's something like, my mom used to tell me quite often that I was selfish. She would often compare me to my sister, where I would feel like I am not good enough compared to her. And I think that really kept going over the years. I'm much more able to catch myself and realize this is not true, but I can see that it still appears often in a very almost not noticeable level, well, on the unconscious. And I can see that being on the beach in a bikini makes me vulnerable. I know if I'm like super slim, there's nothing that people can reject me because of my appearance. They can't think, oh yeah. So I think what happened is that as long as I keep some weight on and I'm on the beach in a bikini and somebody is rejecting me, I can refer to my weight. I can say, oh yeah, that's probably because this person is not attracted to me, or this person doesn't like me because I have a belly. I know it totally sounds weird when I'm talking about it. I think it sounds completely ridiculous, but I really can see the reasoning behind it. And so I feel like as long as I keep that weight, I have a reason. And if I don't have it, and I can see that my brain completely goes wrong in that direction, but thinks that if I am slim on the beach and get rejected by somebody, this will make mean that something with me is wrong, like that I'm not lovable, or that I'm not an attractive person, and that is something wrong with me that I can't fix by losing weight. And so it's better to just keep the weight, because it doesn't hurt as much as thinking that something is fundamentally wrong with you. And I think that is really, really sad, realizing that. I know I have dealt with that for several years, but I hadn't really noticed it now in the past, I think 8 weeks we are now, where I felt like I don't get anywhere. Something is kind of stopping me, although I actually know how to do the things. I have learned that over the last year, and I still couldn't make any sense of what is happening. And now it does. Now it's like, that's what happens. So now in the second unit, she talks about how to catch yourself doing this self-sabotage behavior. That can be at the end of the behavior, like when you deal with the consequences, but it can also be like while you're doing it, or when you, like for me, overeating happens often when I feel a bit restless or a little bit like blah, I don't really know what to do with myself, and then also sometimes like frustration or something like that. So that can happen. Then she said it can also, you can be able to catch yourself when you think certain thoughts that might lead to overeating, and also certain triggers. For me, it's definitely watching Taskmaster, although I love Taskmaster, but it's often a way where I will overeat. So I think I will tell myself next week I'm not gonna watch Taskmaster and see what's coming up, and trying to deal with the urges there, because I haven't really done that in the past weeks. I haven't really worked on my urges and processing them, allowing them without giving in. So that's gonna be my focus for next week, and I might do a follow-up video on that, how I'm working through this self-sabotage. I think just talking about it and hearing your own words and hearing how ridiculous that actually is really helps to understand, okay, these are just old beliefs. You don't have to believe them anymore, and now we're working on that, learning new beliefs, learning to believe new thoughts. With that said, I hope you have a great day, and I see you next Sunday. Bye bye.